That's $400 a month. Y'all got y'all windows straight, right?
They're in the process.
Okay.
They're getting done this summer.
Okay.
We still don't know when exactly the windows will be replaced. We have paid for the windows.
There we go.
But they have not done the windows yet.
Okay.
I don't know how long it takes to do windows.
I don't listen. Our windows, which we're still paying on, got done in a day.
Yeah.
It was it a full day? Oh no. It was 2 days because one of the guys forgot to bring something. One of the guys forgot to bring something. It was supposed to be a day, but somebody forgot to bring something, so they had to come back out and finish up one of the windows. If it's 2 days, like homeowners insurance won't pay for a hotel. Y'all can stay. Y'all can stay at the studios.
I thought you were going to invite us to stay at your place.
Oh well, listen. I don't have that type of authority.
You all are welcome to stay at the. I was like, oh wow, CJ's going to offer his loving home.
Yeah,
studios
for a small fee. I got windows and floors to pay for.
Let me pay at the end.
Yo, if y'all need to, y'all are welcome to. Y'all can come crash with us. I think.
I'll keep you posted.
I think the wife will be fine with that. We have 4 bleeping bedrooms, so like.
I know. I was gonna say you have a mansion.
Yeah, everybody can get one. That's what we do. This weekend was wonderful. She had her area of the house and I had mine. We did not cross paths.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
It was great.
I feel like that's how the happiest marriages go. If you have your own full space.
Every now and then, right? So we did that this weekend, and then yesterday, like we couldn't stop like touching one another. We needed that type of affection.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Curl up on the couch, watch TV, that type of stuff. It's just, you need to have the option to get the hell away from the other person.
Yes.
And we needed that this weekend. What was the song?
It was Madonna's Material Girl, which I have not listened to in a very long time. And it's a good song. It took me back to like 8th grade. We did an 80s dance in 8th grade where I wore leg warmers.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I think I shopped for my outfit at Hot Topic. I think it might have been my first time in Hot Topic.
I'm at the Wolf Chase every week now. Hot Topic still going strong.
We know.
Still going strong.
Chris tried to buy like 8 shirts at Hot Topic the last time we were at the Wolf Chase, and I had to cut him off. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, May 14th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, how about those young Oklahoma City Thunder? We have another tied series in the Western Conference. Meanwhile, the Celtics went up 3-1 over the undermanned Cavs. Mike Wallace is going to join us about 20 minutes in. He is at the NBA Draft Combine in Chicago. He was at the NBA Draft Lottery over the weekend. We'll get his takes on the Grizzlies picking 9th, the standouts from day 1 of the Combine. Today also tips off the WNBA season. I'll discuss the real beginning of it all for Caitlin Clark, charter flights, skims, and more. And we will end with a little TV Tuesday. What we're watching. I watched one of the grossest episodes of television I think I have ever watched in my entire life last night. We'll talk about it. It's a Tuesday. You know what they say. Cowabunga!
Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese is rough. I don't know if you've been there in a while. They look like they're trying to go to business and they can't.
All new material.
They filed for bankruptcy and they're still open. They called Blockbuster and they're like, how do you get out? We want out.
Nate Bargatze. Friday, May 31st, FedEx Forum. Tickets available at FedEx Forum box office or Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Outback Presents. Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
Hey Grizzlies fans, turn your stadium excitement into betting action at Southland Casino Hotel. As a proud sponsor of the Memphis Grizzlies, Southland brings you more gaming action than ever before. Step onto our massive casino floor stretching more than 2.5 football fields. Slot enthusiasts can enjoy more than 2,300 machines from penny slots to high limits and play the hottest games like Aristocrat, Dollar Storm, Cloverlink, and Lightning Cash. Table game aficionados can feel the thrill of the felt with 50 live table games. From 3-card to blackjack match, we're ready to deal you in. Plus, don't miss stadium gaming for an interactive digital experience. And for high rollers, our high limit room is calling your name. Go big on 6 high limit blackjack tables or spin one of our 54 high stakes slot machines. Throw in 8 delicious dining options and a 300-room high-rise hotel, and there's plenty to keep you going. At South Bend Casino Hotel, the gaming excitement never stops.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
LifeCare Ambulance is proud to be an official partner of the Memphis Grizzlies and FedEx Forum. At LifeCare, they wear their hearts with pride. Their passion is their people. They want you to love what you do and where you do it. Their employee-driven culture encourages a healthy work-life balance and supportive work environment. They invest in your success and well-being so that you can provide the best care for the patients that they serve. Join the incredible team of EMTs and paramedics in Memphis, Nashville, and across the nation today. Learn more at lifecareamb.com.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by April 30th. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
This week, we're looking at our favorite black sitcoms. Mike, what do you got on your list?
It starts off with A Different World, the show that we're talking about.
I don't know. When's the last time you watched A Different World? Find it, watch it with the family. It is a phenomenal show, still to this day. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy WNBA season. And to all who celebrate, busy show ahead, recapping last night's NBA playoff action. Tonight, we'll be splitting our time between the NBA playoffs and the season openers in the WNBA. Yes, CJ?
I just don't like that. I would rather they
not.
Yeah, I would rather they find a way to schedule it to where the opener is on like a weekend. Right, that way we can give the W all the attention that I need to give it.
I think it's going to draw attention.
It's hard for me to flip back and forth.
Fair. I do think, given that Caitlin Clark's debut is on national television on ESPN2, it's not going to beat Knicks Pacers. I would highly doubt that it beats Knicks Pacers, right? Game 5, pivotal game 5.
But it's not about beating it. It's just
competing with it, and I think it'll draw numbers, significant numbers.
I don't care about competing with it. I just want to watch.
Yeah.
Right? Like I want to watch uninterrupted. I don't want to be flipping back.
Well, maybe the Pacers will go up 30 again, and you can just casually.
Whenever
you
you're
watch
flipping,
the beginning.
Whenever you're flipping back and forth, there's a 1A and a 1B.
Correct.
Right? I think I know what my 1A is, and it's not Knicks Pacers. It just won't be. It'll be whichever, because it's 2 on at that time, correct?
Correct.
It's the Fever.
It's Fever Sun.
And who's the other one?
Well, the 2 on ESPN2 are Fever Sun and then Mercury Aces. So that's a doubleheader on ESPN2. And then the other 2 games are Liberty Mystic which is at 6, which is streaming on ESPN3, and then Link Storm at 9, which is streaming on ESPN3.
So I guess I will 1A, 1B, and then a clear number 2, because it'll be Fever. Then it'll be, you said Liberty at 6 on ESPN Plus, correct? Mm-hmm. So then I'll flip back and forth on, because Hulu lets you do that, where you can flip from ESPN to ESPN Plus.
Oh,
so
that's a hack.
so I'll do that. And then if all of those are in commercial breaks, I might flip over to the Pacers, and that will be my 2. So it's 1A, 1B, and then 2.
And then it's Timberwolves Nuggets at 9:30. It's just a full night of basketball. Our whole lives have been a full night of basketball, full week of basketball as the NBA playoffs roll onward. And last night, as I was trying to get a little bit of sleep, and the Mavs were up on the Thunder by double digits in the third quarter, and it just felt as if the Mavs were really in control of that game. The Thunder were struggling to rebound again. It felt like the Mavs were sucking the Thunder into exactly the kind of game that you would want. A bunch of half-court offensive sets back and forth. And I was like, okay, I think the Mavs are going to win this. So I closed my sweet little eyes and said I'll catch up on it in the morning. And think of my surprise when I woke up to see that the Oklahoma City Thunder came back, beat the Mavs 100-96. I went back and watched the fourth quarter of that game. And when I tell you, I am so impressed with the toughness of the Thunder and so impressed with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because that felt like a lore game last night. Like one of those games where you think back and say, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the road, this shot, my favorite of them all, from behind the backboard. It is art. And it is the kind of game that helps cement the kind of player that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is for the Thunder. They have a star. They have a star who can win them games, specifically playoff games, road playoff games, pivotal playoff games. And his fourth quarter was pretty close to perfection. He had 10 of his 34 in the fourth, 4 of 7 shooting, led that team. The behind the backboard shot was great. The pregame walk-in outfit really set the tone. You cannot wear this. You cannot show up in this outfit and lose. And it felt like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander really embodied that down the stretch. He called it his most meaningful game of his career. I would have to agree with that. And he also didn't do it alone. Like, it was such a testament to how the Thunder are built to be really good for a long time. To see Cason Wallace, a 20-year-old rookie, the defense he played on Kyrie, especially in that fourth quarter, he had the big blocked 3. His energy, I thought, was a real coming out for him moment. The decisions to go with him down the stretch as opposed to Josh Giddey, who has been struggling throughout this playoff series. And then Chet Holmgren, who continues to run up and down the court, and I'm like, his legs are still so skinny, but he has found a way to toughen up. And he's been huge. Cason Wallace is a rookie. Chet Holmgren also technically a rookie, although it is hard to view him through the sheer rookie lens, even though it is, and that's what he's been counted on this year. But that is why the Thunder are the youngest team in the playoffs, and I thought last night was really a testament to the fact that they are young in age, but they are growing up before our very eyes, and it starts with SGA, and it goes through the rest of that roster, and suddenly we've got a Game 5. We have 2 Game 5s in the Western Conference. What more can you ask for?
All of that is true. The series is over.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. If Dallas does what they're supposed to do and holds on.
But they didn't. They missed 11 free throws.
They didn't. They missed 11 free throws late in that game. It became, hey, give it to Kyrie or Luka. You guys do it all by yourself, as opposed to, hey, Luka or Kyrie, here we go. Pick and roll with Lively. Pick and roll with Gafford. Right? It is nice to see the Thunder do things others don't. Like, bad basketball teams lose that game because they're supposed to. That's a game you're supposed to lose.
Young basketball teams lose that game.
Young basketball teams you lose. They are mature beyond their years of experience in the regular season and in the playoffs. But that team is severely flawed, tragically so. There is nothing inside, nothing outside of Chet. And the defenders, while I enjoy Dort and Jalen Williams, both of them as much as the next person, there's something there that they leave something to be desired. They don't do a good job. Dort on the side.
I would
the
say
rest of
Dort
them,
has been.
The rest of them do not do a good enough job keeping the ball in front of them, corralling the ball. You can get wherever you want to get to on the offensive side against them defensively. It just, with the exception of Dort. The question then becomes, can you pull Chet away from the rim enough to get an easy dump-off dunk? Or can you hold Chet at the rim to get a nice floater? And for most of that game, the Mavericks could do that. The Mavericks were doing that late in that game. Not just late. That game should have been 18 to 24 points up in the fourth quarter for the Mavericks. Mm-hmm. They did not put the Thunder away at all. There were moments where the Mavs are like, oh, here we go. Mavericks are finna go on a run. They're going to push this lead from 11 to 16, and then they'll push it from 16 to 20 or something like that. And no, bad shots, dumb turnover, horrible turnovers. By the way, I think Luka ended up with 7 or 8 turnovers in that game. Just terrible turnovers at inopportune moments early in that game allowed it to be close in the fourth quarter.
He had 7 turnovers. And you're right. Like, if I had just gone box score hunting this morning and saw that the Mavs somehow lost with P.J. Washington putting up 21 and 12, I'd be like, how did that happen? And I don't want to oversimplify it from a missing free throws perspective, but they did miss 11 free throws. Like, if you're the Mavs this morning, you're just kicking yourself over the missed free throws and the missed opportunities. And even late in the game, when you probably needed to miss a free throw, P.J. Washington misses the first badly when they're down 3 in the last 10 seconds, and then he makes the second. So then you're making the one that you shouldn't even be making in the first place because you need to give yourselves a chance to try and tie up the game. And then Luka misses one. It just unraveled. The Mavs are not a team that can solidly put a game away either. And I don't know why on earth Kyrie Irving is only taking 11 shots in that game. 11 shots. 2 games ago, it's praising the passivity of, is that even a word? I don't know. The passiveness of Kyrie Irving and how he is willing to adjust his game based on what the team needs. And he's been an excellent facilitator and getting some of the role players going. But in a game like last night, you're just waiting for Kyrie Irving to take over a game. And part of that is a testament to Kayson Wallace's defense. But another piece of it is he's not shooting the ball. 11 shots.
He doesn't have to shoot it. He shouldn't be shooting it.
He's Kyrie Irving.
The mismatch, the glaring mismatch on that court is Gafford, is Lively, is Washington. What he should be doing is creating for those players, and he's done a tremendous job of doing that. Now, late in the game, you can say, yes, Kyrie, take over. We saw him do that game 3, didn't we, where he was facilitating first half and the second half, fourth quarter specifically, he takes over the game from a scoring standpoint. What Jason Kidd and this Mavericks coaching staff have got to do is late in the games when you want Kyrie and Luka to take over, you've got to let them know, hey, we're not just going to give you the ball top of the key or let you bring the ball down the court, dribble, and then go one-on-one. We're not going to let you do that. The Thunder, while young and inexperienced, they're still damn good, and that's not going to work. What they've got to do as a coaching staff is find a way to create easy looks for those two. And it's not hard. It is not. The one time late in that game, last 3 minutes of that game was a complete debacle for the Mavericks. The one good possession, the best possession of that stretch in that 3 minute span, it was a simple pick and roll for Luka and Lively rolling to the rim. Luka got him alive for a dunk, right? And that landed, and then a whole lot of jabber-jawing going on after the dunk, right? But that was the easy one.
And that was the thing where, P.J. Washington got not weirdly. I love watching P.J. Washington. I've fallen in love with his game and his attitude. I think he's very fun to watch. But, you gotta chill a little bit.
Does he?
Down the street. Yes.
Why? They're jawing.
Because in that situation, as the Mavs, you need to figure out a way to make the Thunder be the team that unravels. And I feel like instead it ended up being the Mavs. But you're right on that pick and roll with Luka and was it Lively or Gafford? It was Lively.
Yeah.
That's the best thing for Luka right now, because what I've really taken away from Luka, and he's hobbled, and there are times where he looks more hobbled than others. Defensively, he's been pretty solid. But I think it's affected him way more on the offensive end because he's not. Look, he took, of all those free throws last night, he only took 6. He's not able to get to the basket. He's not able to draw contact. He's playing a little more passive on the offensive side of the ball, and he only has 18. And when I say the Kyrie piece of only taking 11 shots, you just can't, in that kind of a game, have 27 points combined from your 2 stars in Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. You need more from the 2 of them. And if Luka is going to be a smidgen less than what Luka can be, Kyrie has to level up. A part of that is because Lou Dort has just had Luka in a complete tantrum. Luka was borderline unwatchable last night from a standpoint of complaint. Do you have a friend who just complains about everything? Or anyone in your life who just complains about everything?
Believe it or not, no.
Really?
I don't attract complainers. You have to have a sympathetic ear with complainers, and I don't.
That's,
Yeah.
I have a sympathetic ear for complainers. It's probably why people at the grocery store tell me their life stories as well. But as I was watching Luka.
Yeah.
You don't have that? We're just total strangers, like unload on you?
Believe it or not, no. Strangers
so
aren't coming up
strange.
trying to talk to me. They will ask my wife if they can borrow me and be like, hey, grab that from the top shelf. I'm that guy in the grocery store. I am not.
My husband left me, and I need to talk to a stranger.
In the grocery store?
Grocery stores.
How many
when I
times
was in
has
New
this
York, we were in
happened?
a department store, and the woman who checked us out ended up giving me a hug. She was like, I feel like we're friends now.
What?
And I was like, I was just being nice. Just being nice. Anyway, on the opposite side of that, I do harbor people who will bring their complaints to me. But watching Luka last night, I just wanted to shake him and be like, stop.
Pass it.
Please.
Pass it.
He is every time he is touched. And like, I get it, Lou Dort's frustrating, but my God, it's frustrating to watch Luka just complain and complain and complain about every single thing.
Lou Dort had 2 fouls in the first quarter, and coach, what's the Thunder coach name? Dagnall, whatever.
Mark Dagnall.
There we go. Kept him in the game. I was like, oh, this will be it right here. Game over with. Give it to Luka, and Luka just go downhill at Dort. And he didn't, and they didn't. And some of that might be because physically, like you said, his body might be breaking down on him. He's taking a lot of contact.
Trying to protect himself.
Protect himself some. But damn, that is the playoffs.
Yeah.
You play until you're broke. Go at him. He's got 2 fouls in the first quarter.
Until you're broke. That's the Tom Thibodeau strategy.
In the playoffs, that's what it is, man. You don't play till you're broke in December.
Right.
You don't play till you're broke in February. But what is this, May?
Mid-May?
Yeah, no,
Mid-April
you got to play.
onward.
If you can roll out of bed, limp your ass to the court, and play until your body gives out on you, you have to do that because everybody's doing that. I thought that Luka should have been more aggressive early. And then late, once you figure out, okay, this is what's going to work, run it until they stop it. This is the thing that bothers me, not just in basketball, but across sports. Football also, it gets on my nerves. Why did you stop doing what worked? Why are you not doing the thing that works? They didn't stop that. The Thunder have not stopped the Mavericks. The Mavericks have stopped themselves by not doing the thing that works. And the thing that works is getting into the paint whenever the hell you want, and then finding one of your really, really athletic, really, really active front court players, be it Lively, Gafford, Washington. Who's my man who I'm missing on the high jumper, small forward, starting lineup? It's Luka, Kyrie,
Derrick Jones Jr. Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah, get it to one of them and let them be athletic and finish above the rim.
Well, that was the great thing about on the opposite side, like SGA. The Thunder's inside shooting percentage was so low. SGA did all of that on like tough mid-range after tough mid-range after tough mid-range. The other game yesterday, Celtics beat the Cavs 109-102. Listen, every time the Cavs made a run in that game, I was like, I will name my future child Darius. I will name my future child Struce. I will name it JB. I will name it Cleveland, because I often find myself rooting for the funniest thing possible. That's kind of how I approach life. Like, what is the funniest outcome possible? I like to laugh. I would like that to happen. And I don't have a dog in the race in this series between the Celtics and the Cavs, or in the East in general. But I wanted the Cavs to win that game so badly last night. They just didn't have enough. They couldn't get stops down the stretch. They did continuously have those runs, and it was just too much Jason Tatum, too much Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown made that three, and LeBron James, who was in the building last night in Cleveland, LeBron James with his bottle of wine and his coffee cup and his water bottle, because LeBron James is just like me, a little girly out there.
When we say
I don't mean he's girly. I mean he's like us. Multi-cups.
That is
quite the shot.
That is an moose knuckle. That is an actual bottle of wine, like a full bottle. He gets bottles?
Do you think he wants to start a winery? I feel like with LeBron James, nothing is coincidental. One, his appearance in Cleveland last night, I don't necessarily think is entirely coincidental. And two, having a bottle of wine between his legs cannot be coincidental.
Throw the picture back up and zoom in a little bit, because I want to know how he gets to keep the tops on his bottles. Jacob, throw it back up and zoom in. How does he get to keep? First off, how does he get to keep the wine cork?
Well, he's in the rich people. He's LeBron James.
And how does he get to keep the top? No, that's unfair. That's unfair. The way they jack the top of my bottle, like, come on, man. What am I gonna do with this? Who is this gonna damage? Get out of here. Stop it.
Not
Jacob,
like I'm going to glue my hands to the court.
Throw it back up there and zoom in. I'm trying to see what the label is on the bottle, please.
I could not figure out the label on the bottle, but it was intriguing to see LeBron James.
Zoom in, Jacob. Stop being
Cleveland.
so far away. Zoom in on that.
Do you know the last time that LeBron
Let's get
James...
close. There we go.
Do you know the last time that LeBron James attended a Cavs game as a spectator? Do you know?
When?
March 8th,
No,
2014.
raise it up some, Jacob.
You want to know what he did after that?
What'd he do?
He came home 4 months later.
Did what?
Came home 4 months later.
Oh, I'm
returned to the Cavs.
I'm lost looking at that glorious shot of the bottle.
Are you familiar with the fact that girls always need multiple cups?
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, because my wife doesn't.
I only have one at the moment.
Yeah. No.
But often we'll be drinking like a glass of wine and a cup of coffee and a glass of water.
If you say
we need
so.
all of our things. At Celsius.
If you say so.
Shout out Celsius.
Y'all must be hydrated.
America runs on Celsius. Grind City Media runs on Celsius.
That they do.
All right, we'll talk to Mike Wallace about LeBron James' appearance. Bronny James, who was at the NBA Combine. Mike Wallace is in Chicago. He was at the draft lottery over the weekend as well. We'll get his take on where the Grizzlies go from here as the offseason officially begins, or the offseason work, I should say. Mike Wallace joins us after a quick break.
I've cuddled a time or two in my life.
We are the right.
I've cuddled too. I've cuddled a time or two in my life.
We're the right. Just
yeah,
size
and I think sometimes you're cuddling and you're like, man, I don't know if this fits the right way.
Or I was with someone who had like a baseball injury once, and so like his arm couldn't handle, like he physically couldn't.
He had to say, I would love to cuddle you, but I tore my
can't.
rotator cuff.
I physically cannot.
What a wild deal.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
This is an actual good shoe.
Yeah,
like,
looks
this
like a
is
good
a
shoe.
real good shoe.
What you think about him, KJ? He likes Cheetos.
Like Cheetos?
Yeah,
You
or
like
nay?
Cheetos? You like
For
Cheetos,
kids, yeah or nay?
That's what I mean. For kids,
For kids,
1,000%.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I was still playing basketball, I played in brightly colored shoes. I wore pink shoes a lot of the time or purple shoes. Like, I like that. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese is rough. I don't know if you've been there in a while. They look like they're trying to go to business and they can't.
All new material.
They filed for bankruptcy and they're still open. They called Blockbuster and they're like, how do you get out? We want out.
Nate Bargatze. Friday, May 31st, FedEx Forum. Tickets available at FedEx Forum box office or Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Outback Presents Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
Lindsey Harding has gotten a chance to interview for the Charlotte Hornets vacancy.
She's proven that she could coach on the men's side. She's done a fantastic job and got this G League opportunity and was Coach of the Year. This is fantastic for women's basketball.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's talk about MVPs.
Let's do it. I went with the Joker.
Oh my God,
Nikola Jokic.
Nikola freaking Jokic.
Every time I watch him play, I'm so impressed.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yep.
Everything he does works. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can drive, he can defend. Like, he can do everything.
He can lead the fast break, and he's like 7-1.
IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You think Gigi's a lot better than you were at the same age?
Yeah. The dude did a step back double cross and went by somebody and dunked it. He's pulling it from 4-point line. Like, he's right though. I mean, there was a time in camp when he was like, less of what you're seeing, and that's just because his legs were gone because we're doing all this running, and then we got to play. Like, he doesn't know, like, the game isn't going to be like this.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Funny thing about gas, people constantly complain about the price of gas. Those same people that will complain about paying $2.80 for a gallon of gas
will drive right around the corner. Yeah,
$9 for a cup this big.
Yep, I am people.
Can you believe these gas prices? Give me a $12 cup of coffee.
I am those people.
It's wild out there, man.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
this Tuesday. Mike Wallace of Grind City Media joins us each and every Tuesday. He is on the road at the NBA Draft Combine in Chicago. Mike, how goes it?
Well, guys, it's going well. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, being in the arena right now, you know, where these guys are going to be having their actual scrimmages today, is one of those situations where you get to see the next wave of talent coming into the league. And it's an exciting day. In a few minutes, they'll start their media sessions where they actually talk to the gathered media for the first time. And it's going to be interesting to hear how they feel they stack up to some of the previous draft classes.
Okay, so you're there, and I feel like when you're at one of those things, there's always the buzz around a player, certain players. Like, who's the buzz this year? Not just who performed well yesterday, we can get into that, but who is everyone most excited to continue to see and hear from?
You know what? It's all relative, and you know, I know that's the easy answer because there's so many there's so much variance between, you know, the talent level and who goes where and it's assigned to what. But I think people physically wanted to see, you know, put their eyes and their hands around, you know, Alex Sarr. You know, they wanted to see what he looks like. I mean, it's a French 7'1" kid who spent his first season playing over in Australia, right? So you really didn't see him against the top level competition. Now that he's measuring up, I tell you what, the size of the big centers here is what stood out, and that's what's generating the most buzz. The measurements of these guys. Zach Edey is every bit of the physical specimen that he was advertised. Klingon is much bigger in person than he even projects on the court on TV. And then some of these intermediate wing guys, where, you know, from Ron Holland to, you know, and just pick your name, you know, Dalton Connect, you know, Reed Shepard, you know, Rob Dillingham. All of these guys are making the mark, and they're aligning themselves to try to stay in that top 10, top 15.
Yeah, saw that Donovan Klingon, 7'2" barefoot. Was one of the notes from yesterday. Reed Shepard tied for the highest vertical at 42 inches. Dalton Connect, fastest shuttle run time. This is the time where guys, and I was reading your piece with Grind City Media on the draft combine, and you talked with Tony Allen about this. But like, guys are understanding of where they are in these mock drafts. This really is a significant period for them to try to move their way up and find a way to impress people this week in Chicago.
They're understanding their range, but to Tony's point, I also think that they see opportunity, right? So you look at a guy like Klingon, and you mentioned him. He can go as high as second or third, or he can go all the way down to 9 or 10.
Don't give hope, Mike.
No, I'm just saying, like that's where he's mocked at. You know, he's mocked in 7 different spots at any particular time, and you know, the NBA tracks all of the major mock drafts. And, you know, right now you're looking at, you know, Alexander Sarr is the consensus number 1 so far. But then after that, every single mock has a different person at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's just the mystery of this, you know, this combine. Every single team is here. I've seen just about every coach who's not in the NBA playoffs right now is here. All the front office staffs are here. All the agents are here. So a lot of league business is getting done right here. A lot of the jockeying up and down the board is being done right here. So, you know, this is the first time I've been to this event numerous times. I think this is the first time there's been such a level of uncertainty around certain guys going into this. Even all the way, we didn't even mention, you know, Bronny James coming in and having his own sort of media blitz, watching everything he did yesterday. It's going to be interesting to see what he says today and how he performs in the scrimmage sessions, because he's one of the few outside of the top 15 that are going to be actually playing in the scrimmages.
Okay, since you brought him up, let's get into Bronny James, because he was one of the biggest stories going into yesterday, and then I saw really positive reaction from his performance, from his attitude, from how he has been representing himself, and it's not a complicated situation. That's by far the wrong word, because we all know why Bronny James is at the NBA Combine and now officially going forth into the NBA draft and not returning to USC or to college basketball next season. And if his name wasn't Bronny James and if his dad wasn't LeBron James, probably would be a different situation for Bronny. But like, we have Nepo babies everywhere. Every single industry has their version of Nepo babies. It's affecting the basketball world right now. It is what it is. But what do you make of the Bronny James of it all? And what do you think is the most logical outcome for how this goes for him going into the NBA draft?
You know, I was among the ones that was always skeptical. I didn't think he had an incomplete season at USC, obviously, because of the heart issue. I was genuinely happy to see that he recovered from that and, you know, he got cleared to be able to be here. I remember, like I said, I've been around that kid since he was 4 or 5 years old, right? So I remember him hopping up on the stage as a little toddler when his dad won the MVP in 2012 in Miami. And, to go from, that's 12 years ago. And you look up now and you're seeing him out here, posting a 39-inch vertical and shooting 19 for 25 from 3-point range in some of the measurements. I think what's going to help Bronny here is that he's going to have a chance to go on the court and actually perform, to show people, hey, I'm not just, a sideshow here to my dad. I'm actually a kid that's coming in here trying to be someone that, if not, get drafted, at least make a developmental opportunity. And Rich Paul, his agent with Clutch, said the other day that he doesn't look at LeBron and saying, Bronny saying, hey, I need to find out where he's going to get drafted. It's, I want to see which is the best developmental system I can get him in so that he can have a really, really good chance to make himself and make a name of his own here. So that's the intrigue around it. We'll see how he does in these scrimmages. He can play his way into, potentially the second round or maybe even a late first round. Or he could just put himself in a position to be a prioritized guy for someone's developmental system. It's a lot open for him. It's wide open. And he's going to put himself through these tests and see.
And I was listening to Woj yesterday talk about it from the standpoint of, think of what a marquee name that is for a G League team, if a team does draft him, and what that could do for selling tickets to come see Bronny James play. I mean, imagine if, Bronny James in South Haven tonight, there's more people who would go to that than if he's not on a roster somewhere. So I think that's interesting. As you mentioned, you've been around him since he was 4. You have been around LeBron James for a long time. What did you make of LeBron James showing up as a spectator at the Cavs game last night?
I thought it was great gamesmanship, showmanship. He can say, it was innocent. I'm from this area. This is a franchise that has been near and dear to me from the day I got into the league. I'm sitting courtside and I'm just enjoying the game, right? He could say that and you can believe it, and it's defensible. But what we all know is that in these moments where LeBron has an option and an opt-out clause, and he's not guaranteed to do anything, he likes to do these kind of things. And is it beyond the realm of possibility that he can work his way back into a Cleveland situation? They have enough assets that they can trade the Lakers. He can go home and play with a couple of players that will be left to give himself a real legit chance in the East, which outside of Boston is pretty, shaky and up in the air as well. But at the end of the day, man, I think it's just LeBron, understanding his leverage, understanding his power in this league, and knowing that everything he does is going to send a message to someone. And I think that's how he wants to play it, and that's the way it's going to be.
Tyrese Maxey was at the Thunder game last night, just throwing that out there. NBA players do just show up at games sometimes.
NBA players are not all LeBron James. We're having this conversation because it's LeBron James.
Yeah,
I can't remember if it was.
Play.
Go ahead.
No, I thought it was a great play and a great move by LeBron and his family and his camp for them not to be here. I kind of expected LeBron to kind of show up here.
Let him do his thing.
But he said, look, I'm going to let him be evaluated on his own. I don't even want to be part of the storyline with him showing up there. I mean, literally, Bronny James is walking through the hotel that's connected to this building. He's not by himself, you know what I mean? But he's literally just like any other of the 80 players that are walking around here. And everyone is here. We're the whole. This is, by the way, kudos to the NBA. This setup is perfect for the NBA Combine. We're in the arena right here, which is Wintrust. One hallway tunnel without even going outside takes you to the Marriott Marquis, which is where everyone is staying. And then another other tunnel takes you to the convention center, which is where the lottery was the other day. And everything is all connected, all the meeting rooms and all. So you see literally everybody. You know what I mean? I had a hot dog with with Reed Shepherd's family. When Reed Shepherd was just coming out of a workout, and he had a Chicago dog. We were in line together, and it's Reed Shepherd on the back of his backpack with his number 15 in Kentucky gear, right? Monty Williams and Jamal Mosley were just in the lobby the other day as well too. I walk out for dinner last night, and Tony Allen is holding court in the lobby area, in the drive-through where the valet is, and this big black Escalade, tinted out, pulls up, and out walks Kevin Garnett, right? So it's like it's a who's who of NBA current and future players that are here, along with all the executives, all the coaches. And it's just a cool environment to be in right now to get a lot of stuff done.
Did Tony and KG interact at all?
They did. They were here to do something together. Okay. So it was a film crew down there to capture all of that. And it was just fun to see, man, because these guys want to, and then to see some of the young prospects coming through, you're walking through the lobby and you turn around and 7'5" Zach Edey is right there. And you're like, wow. I should have said, you know what? I told CJ about you, man.
I was going to say, did you tell Zach Edey that you have been stamping for him for months at this point? Were you like, Zach Edey, I know people are going to see you running and they're going to say you're slow, but then they're going to see you drain a bunch of threes, and that's where the...
And then they're going to see that midcourt shuttle run where you look like some mobility and you're doing all right, man. So it's again, he's another guy that he can go anywhere, from late lottery to way down in late in the first round, maybe second round. There's a big variance, when it comes to a lot of these guys, with the exception of maybe the first 2 or 3.
CJ has his hands on his hips.
What are we doing? What
are we doing?
Listen, God bless him. Wish him all the best. He leaves a lot to be desired over here from this guy. He just does. He looks slow. He's still, while that shuttle was fine, that it doesn't look great. It's not like in that shuttle, it quelled my doubts about his ability to move on a basketball court. Sure, you can do that for 10 to 15 seconds. Fine. Can you do it consistently over the course of the game? And can you do it when people are moving around you also? Right? Can you handle one of the Jalen Williams cutting back door on you after you get switched onto something like that? Can you do that? I don't think he can, and I don't think he's that great of a rim protector either. Wish him all the best, though. Somebody will take him, and good luck.
Mike, I wanted to kick it back to Sunday because you were at the draft lottery as well, and the Grizzlies find out they get the 9th pick. What was your... I guess I'll ask you your immediate reaction, but then also as you continue to sit on it, your feelings towards what the Grizzlies could do at 9th.
My feelings on it were, hey, this is kind of ho-hum. You knew the chances that they can drop, and you also knew the percentages. They had a 32% chance to jump in the top 4. They had a 44, 48% chance to fall either 7, 8, 9, or 10. And, the greater volume of chances or probabilities worked out. They slid 2 slots back. What can they get at 9 that they couldn't get at 6 or 4? I think that's where the mystery is in this draft. And, not speaking on behalf of the Grizzlies, because again, they're going to keep this tight knit, close to the vest.
Right.
They were one of the organizations that, didn't or chose not to speak about, where things stood with them coming out of the lottery. And that's respectable. I understand that path. They want to keep everything tight. And that's cool. But at the end of the day, when you look at these mock drafts, one of the things I keep hearing from executives, at that night and all the way through to a few moments ago, is that these mock drafts are going to prove to be so disconnected from what the reality of what's going to happen on draft night, right? So, and I think it literally is guys throwing, darts at a wall and trying to figure out who's going to take who where. And I think that's going to be what happens. Where the Grizzlies go with it, I still believe, from what Zach said before the lottery, that they're just as likely to trade it as they are to just simply take the best player available. They're going to keep their options open, and we'll see where it goes. I don't know if anybody in that range could step right in and be better than Vince Williams Jr. or even more promising than G.G. Jackson. So I think they have the market cornered on their roster with regards to young talent that needs to develop. But can that asset become something that helps them down the line in terms of trading to address some other needs? We'll see. I think there's a lot to be in play between now and June 26th, June 27th, when the first and second round of the draft play out in New York.
Yeah, you got a lottery pick at 45 last season to some degree. So as you continue to move forward, I did want to ask you about some Grizzlies coaching news yesterday. Reports that Taylor Jenkins is restructuring some of his staff. Not a ton of details on that yet, but we did have Drew Hill of the Daily Memphian reporting on a new assistant coach joining the team in Noah LaRoche, who will be the head of player development. He's worked with Blake Griffin, Diana Taurasi, Paul George, Russell Westbrook. The list goes on. What do you know about him? Who is Noah LaRoche?
I am familiar with his work, as far as where I am and where the team is in terms of what they're willing to confirm or discuss. They're not there yet. I wish I could share more. Frankly, I wish I knew more. I feel like it's tough to be in these situations sometimes when these stories and all these things leak out, just in general with the NBA or just in general with news or whatever, especially when it hits this close to home. You feel like you're kind of handcuffed on some things. But at the end of the day, I am familiar with Noah's work and who he's worked with. I've heard some great things about him, and if this thing is true and some of the other things are true, I'm sure there's going to be an update and an announcement rolling out at some point to clear some of these things up. But there are questions surrounding that situation for sure.
Gotcha. Also, the NBA playoffs roll on. I know you've got the lottery, the combine, the playoffs. It's all NBA all the time. I had a question that arose watching the games from last night. Of the teams left within both the West and the East, who's a legitimate contender? Like, who do you think can realistically win the title out of the teams that remain in the conference semifinals?
Boston for sure, Denver for sure, and everybody else I think is still, it would somewhat shock me if it's anyone besides those two. I do think Minnesota is capable, but I just don't trust them yet getting to that next level. I think in a lot of ways, getting to the Western Conference Finals puts them in a house money territory where I don't know if they can close the deal from there. I would love to see it if it's the case. But I think if I had to, put my name behind who I think could absolutely win it right now, and I had to pick two, I'm still saying the two that I said coming into the playoffs, Boston and Denver. And then until somebody else steps up and proves otherwise, then I'm willing to be wrong on that one.
The only reason I would inch more towards the could do it territory for the Timberwolves is because of how they would match up with the Celtics, particularly what is going to be the status of Kristaps Porzingis and just the size that Minnesota can throw at them. But I'm with you. When it comes to Boston, do you remember a time when a team has had as easily cleared of a schedule going to the finals? And I don't want to officially official it because we've seen the Celtics team struggle in the past to close out teams that they should have, particularly the Miami Heat last season. But this year you get the Heat without Jimmy Butler. You're now getting the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell. If you advance to the next round into the Eastern Conference Finals, you're either going to get a Knicks team that is being held together with tape or a very young Pacers team that no one necessarily expected to be there. It's pretty smooth sailing for the Celtics, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. I can think of two other times where it kind of worked out this way. I remember one of the Miami Heat years going through the East. They had to get by like maybe a Charlotte, and then maybe after that it was like a Knicks team that was banged up, and then maybe meeting Indiana Pacers who weren't really ready for that stage. They were so young with Paul George and Roy Hibbert and those guys, and Lance Stevenson, right, in the Eastern Conference Finals. If you go back before that Lakers, I'm reading a book right now, 3-Ring Circus. It's a phenomenal read. I wanted to go back and catch up on some reading from the NBA historical standpoint of dynasty. So, I read about Wilt Chamberlain and the 76ers and the Lakers. Then I read Red and Me, Bill Russell's book about Red Auerbach and his relationship. And right now I'm reading 3-Ring Circus about the Lakers dynasty with Kobe and Shaq and how that fell out. But they went 15-1 during that run to the NBA championship. Where they beat Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers in the step-over game. Iverson won that game with the step-over with Tyronn Lue, but the Lakers just pretty much steamrolled over a really weak Western Conference at that point, a Western Conference that really wasn't ready for them at that point. But, yeah, Boston is kind of sleepwalking through this, and that's why they have a hiccup every now and then. I think they get bored, and then they come back and rally from it. They will have a test in the Western Conference Finals for sure, but through the East, this was as much of a clear cakewalk as they can get. Having said that, Donovan Mitchell not being able to be out there takes a little bit of pressure off of them to some degree, and they're going to catch either a very young inexperienced Indiana team or a beat-up New York Knicks team, as you mentioned, and that should be basically a coronation in the East.
Do you enjoy watching the Celtics team?
I do, especially with Porzingis. It's a bummer not to see them at full strength because when they had Porzingis and their rotation was set, they had a chance to do some really, really special, historic things with the way that they were going to run. I still think they're a little bit vulnerable in the NBA Finals. I think they can overcome those vulnerabilities in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
All right. Mike Wallace, enjoy the NBA Combine. We'll catch up with you when you get back.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Mike. That was Mike Wallace. You can catch his latest work up at grindcitymedia.com. He has a great piece up on his early takeaways from the draft combine, along with a conversation with Tony Allen. Do you enjoy watching the Celtics team, CJ? Because that was as I was watching Celtics Cavs last night, I don't. And I don't quite know why.
Okay.
I think a part of it is it doesn't feel like they're having a whole lot of fun. And it's not about fun, it's about winning, which in a game like last night, even though they don't win spectacularly or flashily, they still win, and that's important. But I almost feel as if it's because they understand so fully that if they don't make it to the finals, this season is an abject failure. And sometimes when you're so focused on the end goal, you can't pick up like moments of joy along the way, and it just feels very robot-y. And that's how it feels watching the Celtics right now. But I can't figure out if it's the Celtics themselves or if it's also the fact that there hasn't been a true like star-powered objector on the other side. Like Donovan Mitchell's been tremendous outside of the game that he missed yesterday, but because it's the Heat without Jimmy, because it's the Cavs, like there just hasn't been this, I don't know.
And there hasn't been a need for one of these Celtics to go super. I think that might be the issue that you may be having. A lot of people, fans, I would say overwhelmingly, prefer to watch things when somebody's doing something spectacular. And because it's Cavs down Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen, because it's the Heat down Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier, nobody has had to be put on the Superman cape, so to speak, and become spectacular. And it has felt kind of robotic. And I, for one, enjoy that. I do like that because that's what it's about. My stance on fun. It's great when you win. It's fun when you win, and it's great when you're young and you're doing things you're not supposed to do. Right? The Thunder should be having all the fun they can have because there's no pressure on them to win. They're playing with house money. There are various teams in this league who should be having fun. They're playing with house money. Any bit of success that they have should be celebrated. The Celtics, no. And you said get to a finals. They don't win it all, it's a failure. They're playing with that sort of realization.
Them get to the finals.
No. They've gotten there. They failed. They're supposed to get there.
And they were supposed to
Jaylen
win.
Brown, we talked about players saying things, sometimes putting their feet in their mouths. And John Morant once upon a time said we good in the West, and they weren't good in the West. Dylan Brooks once upon a time called LeBron James old, and LeBron's old ass put the Grizzlies up out of the playoffs, right? We talk about holding on to those things. I still haven't forgotten Jaylen Brown sitting across from old girl, what's her name? Taylor Rooks, getting hyped up on that Taylor Rooks interview, talking about
It's happened to the best of them.
I want 5 championships.
It's happened to the best
I want 5 of them before I turn 30 or some nonsense like that. And how many does he have?
0.
How many appearances in the finals has he made? Like, okay, this is what it is for them. And they're playing with the maturity, the knowledge, the understanding, and the acceptance that, hey, this is what it is. Let's get rid of these Cavs. Let's get to the conference finals, the NBA finals, and then that's when our season starts. It starts then. Everything else, none of it matters. It only matters what we do in June.
Speaking of only matters once the season starts, the Caitlin Clark effect officially takes over the WNBA tonight as the Fever tip off their season. The WNBA season tips off. We'll talk about tonight's matchups along with the absolute fiasco that was the WNBA's charter flight rollout yesterday. We'll get into that, plus some NFL news, some scheduling news continues to drop. The official NFL schedule comes out tomorrow. We'll get into all of that on the other side. Looking for a full court dining experience? Dribble over to Southland Casino Hotel, your ultimate gaming oasis in West Memphis. As a proud sponsor of the Memphis Grizzlies, we're inviting you to savor the flavors at our 8 incredible dining venues. Ignite Steakhouse is where culinary excellence gets grilled. Indulge in charcoal grilled steaks and farm-to-table favorites, perfectly paired with wine or handcrafted cocktails. Enjoy an all-access buffet experience at the kitchens, or revel in comfort food and Southern classics at the Fry House. If casual is more your thing, sample the innovative fare at Seasons Cafe, while Chairman's Bar and Charred Oak Bourbon Bar serve up cocktails and live concerts every week. For those on the go, The Grind is your one-stop coffee shop with gourmet brews and grab-and-go goodies. And of course, we can't forget the Sports Bar and Grill, where you can catch all the Grizzlies action with the best pub fare in town. At Southland Casino Hotel, we've got the perfect dining experience for you, so come on down and ignite your taste buds today.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by April 30th. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
This is an actual good shoe.
Yeah, it looks like
this
a good
is
shoe.
real good shoe.
What you think about him, KJ? She likes Cheetos.
Like Cheetos?
Yeah, or nay?
You like Cheetos?
For kids, yeah, or nay?
That's what I mean. For kids,
For kids,
1,000%.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I was still playing basketball, I played in brightly colored shoes. I wore pink shoes a lot of the time or purple shoes. Like, I like that. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
This week, we're looking at our favorite black sitcoms. Mike, what do you got on your list?
It starts off with A Different World,
Okay.
the show that we're talking about.
I don't know. When's the last time you watched A Different World? Find it, watch it with the family. It is a phenomenal show, still to this day. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Funny thing about gas, people constantly complain about the price of gas. Those same people that will complain about paying $2.80 for a gallon of gas
We'll
will
drive
pay
right around the corner. Yeah.
$9 for a cup this big.
Yep. I am people.
Can you believe these gas prices? Give me a $12 cup of coffee.
I am those people.
It's wild out there, man.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. The WNBA season begins tonight. We are amped for it. 4 games around the league, highlighted by Caitlin Clark's debut. Fever Sun, 6:30 Central Time on ESPN2. CJ, what do you think is the cheapest ticket via Ticketmaster to get into tonight's Fever Sun game?
$800.
Oh, that would be wild.
I don't know what.
Just 100.
Okay.
But how about in comparison, if you wanted to go to Aces Mercury, which back-to-back champion Las Vegas Aces, one of the first teams to sell out their season ticket allotment in the WNBA history. A lot of energy there. A'ja Wilson got her signature shoe from Nike over the weekend, which was a big deal. Everyone was like, when is A'ja going to get her signature shoe? It's been in the works. It is coming. The rollout of it, it's called the A1, which is also just a great name for a sneaker. Mercury, highlighted by Diana Taurasi, beginning her 20th season.
She doesn't have a whole lot more left.
Sure doesn't. To get into that game, $18. So it is a massive difference, and we are seeing the very early returns on people continuing to follow Caitlin Clark from her season at Iowa. We've seen the energy with Caitlin Clark. We've seen the continued energy with Angel Reese. This entire rookie class. Just yesterday, the WNBA and Skims revealed their first campaign working together, and Skims, of course, being the underwear partner of the NBA and the WNBA. And you're looking at faces like Candace Parker, of course, and you're looking at faces like Dejanay Carrington and Kelsey Plum and Skylar Diggins-Smith, and who is there as well? Los Angeles Sparks rookie Cameron Brink. That Skims campaign was all over my timelines, and you know that I stand for Skims. I am wearing Skims at the moment because, of course, I am. So it feels like such a win for the WNBA going into this year, but this is also a big test for the WNBA. Like, how do you carry this momentum forward? How do you continue to elevate the game? Because it is a freight train right now, and you can't just passively sit by and let it happen. And we thought that we were experiencing like a really important thing for the league in the announcement a week ago that they were going to use charter flights this season. And that's huge because charter flights aren't a luxury. They are a necessity. They are a safety concern as the game continues to grow. There is absolutely no reason why teams should be flying commercial, period. And yesterday, at first you see this great video of the Indiana Fever on their fancy new charter plane, living their best life, having the food, having the beverages, flying charter. It's a great thing to see. You learn throughout the day, not every team was able to secure a charter flight for their first road trip or trips of the season. The information that's come out so far, the New York Liberty won't be flying charter for their first 2 games. They have to take a charter bus. The Chicago Sky did not fly charter. They are flying commercial. They play tomorrow. And I think it was just the Fever and the Minnesota Lynx who were able to fly charter, which just feels like turning a massive PR win into such a flop. Like, how this was not all taken care of to be rolled out at once to ensure that everybody was having the same experience at the start of the season is beyond me. We had a situation either last year or 2 years ago where the owner of the New York Liberty offered to pay out of their own pocket for the Liberty to fly charter throughout their season. And they were told no because it was a competitive advantage or a disadvantage for teams who weren't able to fly charter. And now you're having week 1 of the season when the WNBA has never been hotter. And it's like, not everyone gets to fly charter? This is dumb.
And I don't know why you make that announcement that everybody's flying charter without having everything like locked in and secured for everybody to fly charter. We would have been fine if you had said, hey, we've got this many teams flying charter, and we're going to figure out the rest of it as the season goes forward. We would have been fine getting that announcement. But to tout that you've got everybody doing this thing that everybody very clearly is not doing, feels strange and odd.
It's like Kathy Engelbert woke up and was like, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to have our teams fly charter. And then I was like, okay. And then it was like, oh, there's paperwork and there are specificities that need to be figured out. I don't know. It's just one of those things where you can treat it as I'm really sick of having to treat things like, yay, this is so great. Like, what a great moment for the W and for women's sports. And instead it's not fully formed and it's not fully thought out from a standpoint of, because then it also turns into well, of course, Caitlin Clark's team got to fly charter on their first trip. Of course, Caitlin Clark, look at this advantage for Caitlin Clark. Look at the rollout for Caitlin Clark that nobody has had before. And like, Caitlin Clark didn't ask for that either, but she also deserves to fly. They all deserve to fly charter. So it just perpetuates these weirdo narratives. So I'm excited for the actual games to begin tonight.
Do you think everybody ends up flying charter by the end of the season?
I should hope to God.
Do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. There's so much attention on the WNBA right now, attention in a way where in the past it has been fringe from the outside and concentrated on the inside, but right now it's concentrated outside of just the people who have been doggedly covering the WNBA and women's sports for years. And with more eyeballs comes more accountability. That's just the way that it works. And with Caitlin Clark, I can't remember, because I don't want to inaccurately report. It's not even a report. But I was watching either SportsCenter or Get Up or something this morning, and the lead was, tonight Caitlin Clark plays basketball. And it was done in such a LeBron Jamesy way. And then immediately after it went into, and last night LeBron James watched the Cleveland Cavaliers play the Celtics, and it was just such an aha moment. Like, you're getting the LeBron effect on Caitlin Clark from a media coverage standpoint. Like, they have turned her in to the LeBron, I'm not saying playing wise, please do not come for me, but from a standpoint of, we are going to lead shows, we are going to lead conversations, we're going to have dumb conversations about this, we're going to have smart conversations about this, and everything in between. And that's good for the league. It gives energy overall, and it's going to allow for other players' stories to be told too, which is exciting. Like seeing the response to Asia Wilson getting her signature shoe, seeing the response to the Skims campaign yesterday, and also noting there are 4 games on tonight, and 2 of them are on national television. And the fact that we can even complain about having to flip back and forth feels like a win.
And it is. And you know, it's one of those things where the league is growing, and we've seen this coming. I feel like people on the outside have seen the growth of this league, the potential for growth in this league coming for about 2 years, maybe 2.5. Like, okay. All it's going to take is one of those type players to come through, and lo and behold, look, We got 2 in college 2.5 years ago. We got 2 in college basketball right now. Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers. When they come through, they're gonna jump this league even further, along with the help of the veterans in the league, the A'ja Wilsons, the Vandersloot of the world, the Stewies of the world, right? Like, they're gonna help grow this thing. You guys need to be ready. You guys need to be ready from a team standpoint. You got to have more teams to hold all this talent. We can't have all of these names coming in, names that people know from college basketball. We can't have all the names people know from college basketball come in here and none of them make rosters, right? Yes. So you got to give us more teams. You got to expand from a talent standpoint. And 2, you got to take care of the little things like charter flights for the players, because they are famous. They are known. We don't want to have players dealing with
you can't have Angel Reese at the Met Gala and then flying commercial with
obnoxious people coming up like, hey, why don't you guys blah, 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 right? Like Brittany Griner had that run-in.
She's hurt
She had a couple of run-ins.
Did you see that?
She's old.
The Mercury are always hurt.
Well, they're old.
I know.
They're old. That's what happens with old teams, right?
That's what happens with old people.
So you can't have that type of stuff happening. You got to get the charter flights. You got to get more teams in here. And you got to take care of the little things. We know it's geared up to grow. It's boom, like exponential type growth. You can't mess it up as the commissioner. When the NBA got hold to Bird and Magic, they used that, they milked that, and then Jordan came in and was like, uh-oh, here we go. This is how we're going to do it from now on. You're almost there if you're the W. You just can't mess it up.
Yeah. I love seeing, like, the increase in big monumental news-breaking things from women's basketball, because obviously all the momentum going into the season openers tonight. The news that Lisa Bluter retired from Iowa yesterday, which was crazy. 24 years at Iowa. Yeah. She retired. One of her assistants took over.
Well, listen. She wasn't that great at Iowa. She got Caitlin Clark, and they did some really cool things.
That is not true.
That is true.
That, yes, in the end.
She got Caitlin Clark. They did some really cool things. Caitlin Clark leaves like, I'm not going back to Iowa basketball.
She was Naismith Coach of the Year in 2019, 3-time Big Ten Coach of the Year 2001, 2008, 2010, 4-time Regional Coach of the Year 01, 08, 18, and 19, and the Carol Ekman Award winner in 2015. She is not... Lisa Bluter is not just Caitlin Clark. Iowa women's basketball is not just Caitlin Clark. There's a reason why Caitlin Clark went to play at Iowa.
The reason is she lived in Iowa.
Yes, but there is a reason why she didn't leave. She could have gone somewhere else.
She could have.
She could have.
She should have. She didn't, because she lived in Iowa, and the hometown kid does hometown things. Iowa women's basketball was not that great before Caitlin Clark.
Her all-time record. She's the all-time winningest coach in Big Ten history. 528 and 254, and a Big Ten record of 262 and 145. I'm sorry, you were so wrong in that one. She advanced to the last two national championships.
She's been coaching 25 years. She gets to do that.
22 postseason appearances, 18 NCAA appearances, 4 NIT appearances, including 14 of the last 16 NCAA tournaments. That is not Lisa Bluter carried by Caitlin Clark. That is a program that was ripe for the opportunity. You talk about things being built and being in a place where someone like a Caitlin Clark can come in and thrive. That is what Iowa's women's basketball was. Just because it's not UConn, just because it's not Notre Dame or Tennessee or Stanford, Iowa basketball has been big. Sorry, you've been distracted by the lack of points from the Iowa football team for the last 10 years.
2 Big Ten championships in years not with Caitlin Clark on the roster. I'm looking here, Sweet 16s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Sweet 16s in years without Caitlin Clark on the roster. 3 Elite 8s, 1 Final Four without Caitlin Clark on the roster. What are we talking about here? What are we doing?
She had another National Player of the Year.
1 in 24 years?
That's good.
Okay.
You get 1 a year.
Great. Exciting. Who was this person?
Anyway.
Who was this person that was National Player of the Year?
Disterhoft.
Okay. Like you coach long enough, you're going to win enough games, right? Like I don't know what what metric we're using to measure our women's basketball success. The one that I'm using is the one that I use for everybody, and that's how many conference championships do you have, either tournament or regular season, 1 and 2? How many trips to the Sweet 16 do you have?
How many did you say?
Iowa as a basketball program, 87, 88, 89, 93, 96, 15. That's only 6.
I look at record.
Okay.
And legacy. And if you
I think
leave a
Sweet 16s
program,
are part of the legacy, aren't they?
yeah. 22 postseason appearances. That's a part of legacy. 18 NCAA tournaments.
18. What did they do when they get there? Without Caitlin Clark there, how long has she been there? 24 years, right?
Caitlin Clark's been there 20.
No. How long has Coach been there?
24
years. All right. So just looking at it here, 24 years. That means one Sweet 16. She got there in 2000. One Sweet 16 without Caitlin Clark. I mean, hell, to me that seems like it's all Caitlin Clark. That's what it looks like to me. Iowa, Sweet 16 appearances. They went in 2024, 2023, 2021, 2019. 19, Caitlin Clark got there, if I'm not mistaken. 2015, and that's it. That is it. Now, if I'm mistaken, I might be mistaken. Maybe Caitlin Clark didn't get there. No, she got there in 19. She's got one Sweet 16. And in that same span, one Big Ten tournament championship. One Big Ten tournament championship. And without Clark, one regular season championship in the Big Ten. That to me is all built around Caitlin Clark. But I hear
she didn't get there in 2019.
When did she get there?
Because she was Iowa Miss Basketball in 2020, which is a high school award.
Okay, so she got there. She got there before the.
2021?
Did she get there before the pandemic? She got there before the pandemic.
I don't think so.
Okay, all right, cool.
She did not.
So let's recount then. So 2015 and 2019, that's
She
two.
started, her first college game was November 2020.
So that's two right
There you
there in 15 and 19. And then a tournament championship in 2001 and 2019. So that's two tournament championships. And that's still one Big Ten regular championship. Big Ten regular season championship. So, like, that's, to me, that is
Agree to
Caitlin
disagree.
Clark. Well, that's fine. We can do that.
USC women's basketball going to have a big game next
Speaking
year.
of bad basketball programs, historically, which doesn't make any sense. How do you guys get Cheryl Miller and all of that talent coming through? And y'all are just bad at basketball. That doesn't make any sense.
It's been a bad stretch after Cheryl Miller.
You act like Cheryl.
You're asking for national championship. You have two national championships if you're USC women's basketball.
From when?
83 and 84.
Yeah,
it's been building back up.
Okay, it's 84.
Listen,
94,
TJ, a lot of
04,
women's sports have
14,
been neglected in
40
athletic
years.
departments
It's
across
been
this country for a long time, my buddy.
40 blipping years since USC was good at women's basketball. It takes you 40 years to build back up?
39, they were good last year.
That's how long the rebuild is? It's 39 years to rebuild?
That's completely unfair because they went to an Elite 8
when?
In 92 and 94,
okay.
And they went to a Final Four in 86. But Elite 8, 92, 94.
Jessica, it's been 30 years since that time of success.
Because I was going to say Lisa Leslie was there in the early 90s.
Yeah, and y'all couldn't continue to build on that? You're just
Gigi
letting
Watkins
these women
is going to play against Paige Beckers in UConn on Fox next year. Did you see that? It's exciting. December 21st. It's going to come out of an NFL game.
No.
It's all about lead-ins.
I don't care. Why am I talking about schedules for things to pop off? What do you think this is? College football? Yes. This reeks of, hey, guess what? Oklahoma and Miami are going to play when? In 2042. I don't give a rat's ass.
We do it for them, and now we're doing it for home and home schedule.
We shouldn't do it for them. We're back on this.
Why not?
Because it's stupid.
I love to get excited about things.
Stupid.
I love to have things to live for. Do you want to die?
Yes.
I love to have things on my calendar years from now.
I want to die. If this is what it's going to be in sports, yes, I'm ready to go.
I'm having a rough week, I'm going to be like, God, I got to make it to December 21st because that's when USC and UConn play. Coming out of an NFL Saturday game, December 21st.
I look forward to whenever they play. I look forward to seeing Juju and Paige go at it.
Great, it's going to happen.
This is great. This
on
is
national
exciting.
television.
And unlike college football,
great lead out.
Unlike college football, they give it to us immediately.
Yes,
it's not USC.
It's a home and home this year, next year.
It's not USC versus UConn in 2050. It's USC UConn right now. College football will be like, oh, we're both good right now. Let's wait 2 decades before we play. Let's do that. At least the women got it right on that end.
Anyway, I was excited about that. Did we miss something else? Oh, Jared Goff got paid. He's now the highest paid player in Detroit Lions history. 4-year contract worth up to $212 million, $170 million guaranteed. League's second highest paid player. Joe Burrow is number 1. Jared Goff is number 2. I saw a tweet yesterday from, who was it? Shoot, I thought I sent it to myself. Please hold for 1 second. Warren Sharp. who gave the stats of Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford since the trade between the Rams and the Lions, and they are nearly identical. Like, talk about a trade that just works out both ways, and the Rams got CJ's favorite statistical measurement, which is a Super Bowl win, so be ahead on your realm. Jared Goff, 24 wins. Stafford, 24 wins. Goff, 66 completion percentage. Stafford, 66 completion percentage. Goff, 41 turnovers. Stafford, 41 turnovers. Goff, 46% success rate. Stafford, 46% success rate. Goff, 78 passing touchdowns. Stafford, 75 passing touchdowns. Goff, 89 sacks taken. Stafford, 88 sacks taken. Goff, 35% first down per attempt. Stafford, 35% first downs per attempt. And then Goff, 5.5 yards after catch / completion, and Stafford 5.5. They're the same. Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, they're the same. So do you want Matthew Stafford right now? Because I sure as hell don't.
He won the Rams a Super Bowl.
He won it 3 years ago, and that Rams defense was loaded, and they had all that talent around him. So if you think Jared Goff is good enough to get you a Super Bowl win, you absolutely make the decision to pay him that much. If you think Jared Goff is good enough to win you multiple games when it matters most in the NFL postseason, in the Super wild card, divisional conference championship, and the Super Bowl, if that's 5 games, if he can win you 3 of them by himself, you pay him. Sure, knock
It's
yourself
also
out.
just a testament to how much we're paying quarterbacks
And
now.
it's stupid.
Like, this will continue on. Who's
Where-
next? Who's next? Trevor, Lawrence,
Yep.
Jordan Love,
Yep.
or Tua Tagovailoa?
All of
Who
them.
gets it first?
All of them. Whichever one's contract is up next.
Yeah.
Whose
That's true.
contract is up next?
I think it's
Well,
Tua.
we can't keep y'all can do it. Knock yourself out. Y'all got the money to blow. Y'all got money to waste on these mediocre football players. Where's Jared Goff quarterback wise? And then ask yourself this: damn quarterback positionless. Where would Jared Goff be in the NFL? Is Jared Goff a top 100 NFL player? Are we putting him in there? Where is he? Where is he? Because if that's what that's making, God bless you. You're paying all that money for a bad football player and a mediocre quarterback at best. Good luck to the Lions.
Hey, how many national championships does Michigan women's basketball have?
We're not talking about Michigan women's basketball. I didn't
just
bring
wanted
them
to go
up.
back.
I didn't bring them up. Why are we bringing them up? I know that when Nas was there, had they not run into, I forget who they ran into. Was that Reese? I think that was after. Had they not ran into somebody, they would have got one that year. They were good. Didn't they get to a championship game?
No.
They never got to a Did they get to a Final Four?
No.
Elite Eight?
Elite Eight.
Nas.
One.
Look out
When
for
you're
those
looking
dreams,
at-
baby.
You know, it's
Look
so
out for those
interesting
dreams.
when you're looking at tournament history, and there's just one Elite Eight appearance. Why isn't Michigan women's basketball better?
I don't know. I don't know. But
interesting.
But if we're going to compare Michigan women's basketball to the basketball at USC, I would say USC should be better because they're in Blippin' LA. How many people are there? Michigan sits in Ann Arbor. How many people are in LA? How many women are in LA?
Well, I would say Michigan men's basketball has done pretty well for themselves. Only one championship for them as well. But
Listen, that's disappointing also. Yes.
guess what? It's
Michigan,
really hard-
Michigan
it's really-
basketball is
Well, no, my
disappointing.
takeaway is it's really flipping hard to win a championship.
No, it's no.
Can we talk about toilets?
Can we take this break and then
Okay,
come back
fine.
and do it?
It'll be part of TV Tuesday. I learned something about urinals yesterday that just absolutely blew my mind. We'll get into that along with what we're watching on TV after a quick break.
Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese is rough. I don't know if you've been there in a while. They look like they're trying to go to business and they can't.
All new material.
They filed for bankruptcy and they're still open. They called Blockbuster and they're like, how do you get out? We want out.
Nate Bargatze. Friday, May 31st, FedEx Forum. Tickets available at FedEx Forum box office or Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Outback Presents. Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
This is an actual good shoe.
Yeah, it looks like
this
a
is
good shoe.
real good shoe.
What you think about him, KJ? She likes Cheetos.
Like Cheetos?
Yeah,
You
or
like
nay?
Cheetos?
You like
For
Cheetos?
kids, yeah or nay?
That's what I mean. For kids,
For
1,000%.
kids, yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, if I was still playing basketball, I played in brightly colored shoes. I wore pink shoes a lot of the time or purple shoes. Like, I like that. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Justin Timberlake. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd.
Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
Let's talk about MVPs.
Let's do it. I went with the Joker.
Oh my God,
Nikola Jokic.
Nikola freaking Jokic.
Every time I watch him play, I am so impressed.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Everything he does works. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can drive, he can defend. Like, he can do everything.
He can lead the fast break, and he's like 7-1.
IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You had 7 games where you had 5 assists or more. Do you know how many times prior to that in your NBA career you have had 5 assists in a game? Twice. How about that? Your playmaking, Jared. Playmaking, Jared.
Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd's crazy.
Trip Kid.
Trip Kid is crazy.
Trip Kid.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Funny thing about gas, people constantly complain about the price of gas. Those same people that will complain about paying $2.80 for a gallon of gas
We'll
pay
drive right around the corner. Yep.
$9 for a cup this big.
Yep. I am people.
Can you believe these gas prices? Give me a $12 cup of coffee.
I am those people.
It's wild out there, man.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I hopped on Twitter during the break, and guess what the first thing that came up was?
What?
Florida versus Miami, August 31st. We have a kickoff time. Is
that this year?
2:30 p.m.
Okay.
Of course it's this year.
Oh, you say of course.
This year.
Like they won't go up. Florida taking on Miami.
On ABC.
On ABC in 2062.
No. Just got me excited.
Okay.
August 24th. Florida State, Georgia Tech, and Dublin is going to light up my little life.
Florida
Again,
State,
things I live
Georgia
for.
Tech.
I learned something new yesterday. Just like last week, you learned that women's bathrooms have little gift baskets for us at times with things like perfume and hair straighteners and makeup wipes and deodorant and whatever else we might find ourselves needing in a women's bathroom. But I learned that urinals sometimes have scented tabs.
Mm-hmm.
What are these? I have never seen. I have seen my fair share of urinals, CJ, but I swear it, I have never seen a scented tab. Thank you.
You see the picture on the right? You know what that is, right?
It's a urinal.
The one on the right,
Oh, it's a trough.
that's a trough. Oh. That's a trough, and we all just stand there together, shoulder to shoulder, and we just pee into that thing.
Yes.
All right. So the urinal cake is what it's called scientifically.
Why is it called a cake?
Because it's caked in there. And I'm not really sure what it does.
I like cake that I eat, not cake that goes with pee.
Well, and so I think it just keeps it from smelling like pee.
Okay.
And you just pee on it. That's what you do. Now, listen, that toilet is ridiculous.
What's it made out of? What are the tabs made out of? Are they squishy?
That would mean I would reach into the urinal and pick it up and squeeze it. This is only a public restroom thing also.
You've told me that you worked in a movie theater, so
Yes.
it was not part of your job to put
no.
scented tabs in the urinals.
No. Somebody else.
Why don't all urinals have scented tabs? Why have
All
the
of them
urinals
do.
that I've seen? Can only men see the scented tabs? Is this like an Emperor's New Clothes situation?
Are you walking up to the urinal looking into it?
I mean, I have used my fair share of men's restrooms when I'm in a pinch, and I have never seen a scented tab.
So they don't have them here in the forum, I don't believe.
I would never use them in the forum.
Well, listen, when you got to go, you got to go.
I use the family restroom.
Let's go. Yeah, so they don't, it's not like every major venue has the urinal
Scented
cakes.
tabs.
Yes.
The cakes.
But the urinal cakes. But like if you go to a movie theater, if you hit a Powerhouse right up here, guarantee you they have it. I guarantee you most of, if not all of the restrooms you'll use on Beale Street. At those restaurants and establishments, bars, what have you, have urinal cakes.
I'm not kidding. I have never seen this.
I will
Like when
guarantee
this
it.
crossed my timeline.
Yeah, and you just the issue is what I don't like the urinal cake because like I'm tempted to pee on it, and if you're peeing on it, that means urine is going everywhere because you're hitting it and it's a splash effect. Think about you turn your faucet on in your sink all the way up, If there's a dish in the sink, think about the
that's why I
splash
asked
at
what
the
it's
water.
made out of.
Yes, so it will splash everywhere. So now I try and avoid it because I don't want to get urine all over the place. But yeah, you pee on it, and I'm assuming it's not. So it does
Who invented
dissolve.
the
Think
urinal
about,
cake?
I don't know, but think about have you ever used one of those? What do we call those? The things you drop into the top part of your toilet bowl.
Yes, the scented things. It's similar energy.
Is made of that type of thing. It just has an odor to it to make it smell less like depression in the men's bathroom.
Well, I love when things smell less like depression. Did the founding fathers invent urinal cakes? The origin of urinal cakes is surprisingly unclear. The question marks in the annals of history have been covered over with equally captivating and false mythology. Perhaps the most exciting origin story claims that the urinal cake was invented by Benjamin Franklin. Oh, how we wish that were true. To show the... I always struggle with this word.
Just sound it out. You're doing a good job.
Efficiency.
Okay.
It never comes out.
Efficacy,
right.
efficiency?
Efficacy.
Okay.
Efficacy of his Franklin stoves. The tale goes on. Ben set a plate of fresh cakes near the outhouse. Why next to the restroom? Those details are conveniently omitted from the story. While using the restrooms, the supposedly clumsy John Hancock knocked one of the cakes into the outhouse, and the foul stench was quickly ameliorated. Wow, they used a lot of unnecessary big words in that small story about Ben Franklin and pea cakes. Okay. Also, I hate the smell of cake. Like, I hate cake-scented candles.
Yeah.
I love the smell of cake. Let me be perfectly clear.
Right.
There's a nice cake. I want to go eat it, and it smells great. But I hate using cake to mask bad smells. Chris and I are doing this with our trash can right now because our trash just reeks. For whatever reason, how it's situated in our house, it can only last like 3 or 4 days before we have to take that trash bag out. But we put these little lavender pads at the bottom, and now our trash just smells like lavender trash. Like, it still smells disgusting. That's how I feel with cake.
Have y'all thrown bleach into the trash can? Have y'all cleaned the trash can?
The trash can itself doesn't smell.
It's just the trash.
Like, even when we take the trash out,
So-
you don't even have to wipe it down every time, even though I like to.
Wipe it down.
Yes.
Put bleach and
With a
leave,
bleach 409.
Leave the bleach in there.
Yes.
Get you just a bottle of bleach.
Yes.
Pour a little bleach. Leave it in there.
Nothing works.
And when you start throwing things away, because it's all the food that you're cooking is making it stink. So the packaging and everything.
Yes.
Put the packaging in a separate little bag. Tie that up and drop that in there. If you have any grocery bags.
Yeah, Chris doesn't use grocery bags
Well-
because they're ruining the environment.
Well, get 1 or 2 of them next time you go to the grocery store. That way you can tie up the fish is terrible. Fish wrappers, oh, that's awful.
Yes, I know. We have fish twice a week, and
you have to put it. You have to put it
fish,
in there.
vegetables, broccoli.
That's
bad culprit. Anyway, pea cakes. Who would have known?
Urinal cakes.
The more
It
you know.
smells like lemon most of the time.
Lemon is a good scent masker.
Because you
Not
you
cake.
need it to match. It's called a lemon. It's called a urinal cake because it's whatever it is caked in there, and you're supposed to use it at the urinal.
Is this the cake that Rihanna was talking about when she said it's not even my birthday?
No. She was talking about that thing.
Cake.
All
All right, what are you watching? What are you watching on TV right now?
I think we're going to find some really cool things out about Wolverine and X-Men 97.
Oh, exciting.
The way X-Men 97 ended, it's like, holy cow. I watched and went back and watched Ultimate Wolverine versus the Hulk. And so in that little story, and it's a comic book story as well, you can go and read it. It's really, really cool. What we find out about Wolverine is we think he has this healing factor mutation, but what it really is just a survival thing, where as long as his brain is still there, he can, and you have the body parts, he will survive.
Okay.
It's that type of thing setting up. And in that story, spoiler alert for the story, is still really, really great. It's Wolverine versus the Hulk. They're fighting. Hulk rips Wolverine in half, throws his legs up a mountain, up the Himalayan mountains. Wolverine climbs up it. Nick Fury ends up dropping a bomb on both the Hulk and Wolverine, trying to get the Hulk to stop thrashing about.
With no legs.
Yes, and Wolverine can't get away because he's got no legs.
Got it.
Fast forward, we snap to Wolverine is sitting in a chamber with just his head, talking to Eye Patch, Nick Fury, talking to Fury.
Okay.
And it's just his head, and Fury lets him know, hey, we've got all of your body parts upstairs. You're fine. You're breathing through your skin. Like, that's what Wolverine is capable of doing. And there was something to pop off at the end of X-Men 97 that pretty much like a holy bleep, he's not gonna make it.
Okay.
But I think we're gonna find out that he'll do just fine. And that story continues to talk about genocide in a really, really cool and creative way. To the point
as
now.
Cool and creative as you can.
Well, listen. If you're doing it the right way, it can be cool and creative and educational.
Right.
And it could pull empathy from you in a way where for the longest time we've treated Magneto, I have, like just the ultimate villain.
Okay.
Like he's just a bad dude. And really, he's just a dude who wants to be left the hell alone. And Magneto's only got two cheeks. And once he turns both those cheeks, it's on and popping. And like I understand why Magneto's like, no, forget this, wipe them all out. And so that is where we are in the storyline where, all right, here's the big fight between mutants and humanity. Also, just the sheer power of a mutant like Magneto is impressive. My man ends up like controlling the poles of the earth in a really, really cool way. That's great. So I'm watching that. Look forward to seeing tomorrow's episode. I know we got people in the chat who watch that episode on Wednesday before it comes out on Wednesday. They watch it before the show, and then they come into the chat and like, oh, CJ, just wait till you watch it. It's like, all right, you jackass, I'm at work, so give me a minute. I finished the Upshaw season, whatever the hell has come out. I love that show so very, very much. So I finished that, making my way still through The Neighborhood and Bob Hart's Abisholik, great sitcoms to me. And I started Knuckles, the show on Paramount.
You did?
I did. I laughed. I did. That type of show just speaks to my heart. Watching Knuckles the Echidna trying to adjust, this warrior echidna trying to adjust to life on Earth with his talking hedgehog and his flying fox friends is great. I loved it.
It's a great name.
Yeah. Knuckles?
Knuckles.
Because of the
Yes, I
Knuckles.
know.
Oh, I love it.
I am watching Hacks Season 3 continues to be great, and there's a roast episode which felt so perfectly timed considering we were just talking about the Tom Brady roast, the greatest roast of all time. And there's a tagline from that roast that continues the use of a word that I'm just trying to make great again. It's okay. We'll figure it out if we can get there someday. You know the word. No, stop it. Stop it. We will not get canceled on this Tuesday.
What word?
That one. As we move
say
forward,
it, you coward!
I am a coward.
How can you make the word great and you're
she
afraid
says it
to
like
say
8 times because I value my security in the situation.
Well, say
but
the
she
other
says
word.
it, and you should watch Hacks. If you don't watch Hacks, it's one of the funniest shows on TV.
So she says
also am
kavut
watching,
a lot?
Yes, I'm also watching a show called School Spirits on Netflix.
Like serving
that kept
kavut?
coming up. That kept coming up on my on my TikTok page. Like, every now and then I get sucked into watching shows on TikTok, and the School Spirit show came up enough times where people said every single end of the episode twisted in a way that they were completely surprised by. And I was like, I'll give it a try. It's great. Great is a big word. It is a good high school drama comedy. It's about a girl who dies.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
She dies,
All right.
and her spirit is stuck in the school, and she learns that anyone who has she learns that anyone who has died in the school, not anyone, but there's a group of them who get stuck there. So there's like unfinished business. So there are spirits in the school that have been stuck for 40, 50 years, and they can't get out, and they have a support group. So they're trying to, there's like a therapeutic element of it where they're trying to learn how to let go. But this girl doesn't remember how she died. Like, they all know how they've died. She's the only one who is unaware. So then they all get together and are trying to solve the mystery of her death.
Is this a comedy, a drama, a mystery?
Teen comedy drama.
Okay. Is there a
40-minute
teacher?
episodes.
Is there a teacher who died who's there
Of course,
organizing
he's like the
them?
guidance counselor
Okay.
of the
All
group.
right.
But then, like, one of the girls was killed by her guidance counselor too.
Oh,
so
let's
there's
go.
a weird, like, the way that these kids have died. One kid died in the homecoming football game, like his neck snapped, and
Okay.
his mom still shows up to the game every year. And they have to watch their parents come back or how they're friends. And like, one guy was like a young gay kid in the 80s. He had a peanut allergy. He died that way.
That's
But
not
now
the peanut.
there's
I
like
thought you would
someone who
say
he had a
Wednesday.
relationship with is now a teacher at that school.
Oh.
So trying to figure out how to like leave signs. And they're not your typical spirits. They can't like haunt people. They can't scare people. They're just there. Like, it's really a really boring, lame existence being stuck. I cannot imagine a worse place for my spirit to be stuck than in my high school.
High school? I'd rather be stuck at my daycare.
Work.
I know.
What if I had to just sit here and watch you like, I'm just like, oh my God.
Oh, that would be bad.
CJ's, I can't yell back at you.
But thankfully, after I finish with my women's basketball takes and other takes, they wouldn't have me here for long. It'd be somebody new here. It just
and
wouldn't
your new
be.
tagline.
What's my new tagline?
Never mind.
Serving Kavant?
I wanted to say one more thing that I watched
You
last
want
night.
to bring this word in?
One more thing that I watched last night during the break between games. American Horror Story Delicate is one of the worst shows that I've watched in a minute. I have remained committed to the American Horror Story series through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I will not give up on this season because I have to fill in the whole, I have to find out what happened. And this last episode, it was episode 7. There's 9 in the series, and we did find out a little bit more. There's a demonic, satanic side to this, and this is probably just a me thing, but when people do satanic chants in TV shows, do you try not to listen?
Yeah.
I found myself going blah 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 because it feels so wrong and uncomfortable, and so I'm doing that. And then they also showed multiple slicing into pregnant women's stomachs.
I'm fine with that.
And taking the babies out, and there was so much blood, and then there was putting the blood over the face and eating the blood and eating placentas. And Chris and I both at multiple times are watching through our hands. And all I could think of was the fact that Travis Kelce is going to be in Ryan Murphy's next series. The news came out last week called Grotesque or something. And Ryan Murphy is he's a sick man. In a good way. He makes great television at times. Shocking television always. And all I could think were these young Taylor Swift fans who are like, Mommy, let me watch Travis Kelce on this new Ryan Murphy show. And whatever comes out of his mind is going to, if those kids had been watching that show last night, it could set society back because they would be trying to not just ban libraries, they'd be trying to ban television shows. It was uncomfortable.
I mean, it's got a parent rating on it in the TVMA.
It sure is.
So if your little 8-year-old is mature enough to watch it, go ahead.
As your reminder, parents.
Not that it's hard, but it's not that damn hard. Hey, don't you watch that. And if you watch it, I'm going to pitch you through the window. Stop playing with me. Right? But okay, good.
And then you see someone burned alive too. So I keep wanting it to tie back to Coven, which is my favorite season of American Horror Story of all time, the Witches one. I don't think it's going to.
Freak Show was good.
Freak Show was good. Asylum was good.
Asylum is mine.
And Murder House, the original.
The original was great.
The one,
also.
the gateway drug of it all.
But after Coven, I think I tapped out. Because what was the hotel one? How far?
I tapped out of Hotel.
I didn't do Hotel. I didn't do the one after that. And I think
we came back.
Is this the third one?
No, there's no.
Okay.
This is the 12th season of American Horror Story.
So I'm 5 or 6 behind.
Let's see. We came back for Apocalypse.
Okay, I was out.
We skipped Roanoke. We came back for Cult.
That was the one I thought about getting into.
And we came back for 1984.
Okay.
We skipped Double Feature. We skipped NYC, and now we're back for Delicate.
Okay.
And boy, is it back. It is a show, and it is a gross show. Anyway, that'll do it for today's show. It's 9:34. We're going to talk about the Office reboot. I don't even watch The Office. Steve Carell not going to be a part of the Office reboot.
I mean,
Are you going to watch it anyway?
He wasn't a part of the Office the last 5-6 seasons?
Yeah.
2 seasons? All right. Jacob says only 2 seasons. It felt like an eternity. I will poke my head in if I have the chance and see what they on, and if it's good, I'll continue to watch it.
Did you watch SNL this week?
I did.
Did you enjoy it?
Nothing stood out. It was fine.
I liked the intro.
I thought the monologue was great, having everybody's moms up there and seeing where they all come from. I thought that was really, really cool and interesting.
I liked the song.
Outside of that, what song?
Maya Rudolph song. That was the monologue.
Oh, not the monologue. I thought that the cold open there.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife loves Maya Rudolph. I love Maya Rudolph. She loved that as well. I thought the coffee sketch was pretty funny.
Do you know what that comes from?
No.
It's like an old Lauren Bacall coffee commercial that sounds exactly like that. It's taking old Hollywood glamour girls who were apparently just a giant pain in the ass to deal with on commercial shoots and turning it into. It was someone on that staff is so deep into internet culture that they continuously find really creative ways to bring it forth in 2024.
That's the really cool thing about this iteration of Saturday Night Live. They get off into the weeds of these popular topics in a really fun way, so that if you're into it, You see it and you immediately know what they're referencing and you find it funny. And I just find it funny because they're still standing up there farting and drinking coffee, right? Like that's what makes them really, really good right now.
I am your mother. All right, that'll do it for today's show. We have so much basketball to consume tonight. NBA playoffs roll on. WNBA season tips off. We'll be back tomorrow to break it all down. I decided I'm going to try to end every show with a lyric from the song that I kept to start the show to try to create a cyclical nature to the show.
Well,
Are you ready?
Don't tell us that. Just
I
do
needed
it.
to say it because otherwise, like, people have to learn as we embark on this new thing.
They'll figure it out.
Boys may come and boys may go, and that's all right. You see, experience has made me rich, and now they're after me. We'll see you tomorrow. I just picked one from the middle. I forgot to plan it ahead of time.
What the hell was the song?
Material Girl.
Oh, okay.
Should have gone with they can beg and they can plead, but they can't see the light, 'cause the